The Chicago Bears just found a random gem, and this guy is starting to blow coaches away. He's starting to really get on the radar, and he might be considered to be the likeliest undrafted free agent to make the roster this year. Now, the Bears didn't go absolutely wild with the undrafted free agents this year compared to other years. The player I want to talk about is Power Echols. Now, is this guy more than just a really cool name for an NFL linebacker? Is he a player that has a legit chance to not only make this roster, but actually make an impact as the number 3 linebacker on this team? And could we be looking at the same type of player that the Bears had in undrafted free agent Jack Sanborn? Remember when he came on the roster out of nowhere, became a starter when they went to a strong side linebacker on the field. So the front office is absolutely open to this. It's happened before, and one of the surest tacklers on the field, if you haven't forgotten, is really one of the best players on this team, and I'm talking about linebacker TJ Edwards. This is straight from our GM. When you see a guy like that go from being undrafted, working himself into his first contract, elevating his game again and again, and getting a second contract, I think that's special. And that is something that motivates all the other guys who come in the door. So, I mean, the coaching staff is really stressing, hey, we don't want these undrafted free agents to just be seat fillers here. We are fully on board to these guys actually making the roster. And we're kind of looking at a guy that didn't test well at the combine. He went undrafted. I mean, we can go by athletic measurables, but I like the eye test, and this is more of what the Chicago Bears coaching staff goes by. You've heard Ben Johnson talk over and over and over, hey, I want to watch this player play on the field without even knowing anything about him, and then we'll look at the measurables. So let's kind of look at the tape. Paints a really encouraging story on this guy. And this guy was an absolute stud at North Carolina. He recorded 100-plus tackles in 22 and 23. Now you look at his senior year in 24, 76 tackles, 6 pass breakups, and this was on his way to honorable mention all ACC honors, and he really entered the draft as a productive and experienced prospect, had a reputation for really well-developed eyes, really good mind for the game. He went to the combine, and this is kind of where he posted average numbers. He ran the 40 in 4.7 seconds. He's undersized at 5'11", 237 pounds. Really good vertical at 37 inches. Really good broad jump, but just his performance really at the combine contributed to him going undrafted. But then, what did the Chicago Bears do? GM Ryan Poles, he gave Echols a pretty big contract when you look at undrafted free agents. He signed a deal containing $130,000 in guaranteed. That's money that's according to Spot Track. And this money is really notable, and it increases his chances of making the team. So why are we looking at him making the team? The Chicago Bears have questionable depth right at linebacker. Johnson left no doubts, though, about this being an open competition, and this is for the 3rd linebacker spot, and this is via Mike Dwojak of Shaw Local, and also the Bleacher Report. They just recently named Echols as the Bears' undrafted free agent most likely to make this roster, and the Bears were actually really praised for this draft, right? But the selection of Maryland linebacker Ruben Hippolyte, I just talked about him, in the 4th round, that kind of raised some eyebrows, right? A lot of guys were saying that this was a reach, but Hippolyte is like a classic prospect in the 4th round, right? A guy that just launches up draft boards because of his measurables and not necessarily for his on-field production. Now, I talked about him the other day. The guy roams sideline to sideline really well. Great speed for a linebacker, but this is a little different. For Hippolyte, his speed is what has the Bears excited, but Echols is actually kind of night and day from him. He was a guy who was overlooked because he didn't blow anyone away at the combine athletically, but the guy did absolutely nothing but produce during his time at North Carolina. And the Tar Heel, looking at his tape, the guy looks like an absolute stud, and he roams really freely from sideline to sideline, just really good hips, really good eyes, and I can kind of see Hippolyte and Echols doing something. These guys being paired together, I think Eccles is an absolute find by this coaching staff, and they can kind of really complement each other as depth pieces behind TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edwards. And this is because, obviously, Jack Sanborn, he was let to walk in free agency. Now there's an opening at strong side linebacker, and there's just not a proven option to fill it. And it's a spot where the two rookies could earn playing time, even when Edwards and Edmonds remain on the field in different sets. Hippolyte and Eccles, I think if they can become productive players here, there's a chance that this rookie class could go down in history as one of the Bears' absolute best. I mean, granted, this might be jumping the gun a little bit. I'm not going to be the guy to slow down the hype, though. I like positive hype coming into the season. We're winning off seasons every year, but I think this is the year that we actually see the results on the field. You're looking at Loveland, drafted as a super athletic tight end. The guy's going to stretch the field with all the defenses paying attention to DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, the running game. Do I need to go on? But Eccles, as far as his usage, he has actual good lateral speed. I mean, he is able to slip out of blocks. He's most effective in coverage as well. He really has a good way about him to reroute pass catchers. And I think he's going to eventually serve a third down role as like a specialized coverage linebacker. And I think he's a really good addition. And you're looking at the Bears expected to primarily still run a 4-3 as their base defense under not only head coach Ben Johnson, but obviously Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator. And we're kind of looking at this as being a diamond in the rough signing. And that's what we look for in OTAs. That's what we want to happen in training camp. Some of these guys that were kind of dice throws, these potential reaches in the draft, if you will, of Hippolyte, I don't think he's a reach. But why are we in this situation? I thought this roster was so improved. Why are we in a situation that we're counting on an undrafted free agent to make this roster and actually make an impact? So kind of a few reasons for that. The talent pool wasn't as strong this offseason, right? When the draft is weak beyond the third round, you can't really expect the undrafted free agent market to offer that many opportunities. But when you unearth a player like Eccles, it is a cause for celebration. And also, the Bears don't really need a heavy infusion of bodies, of talent on this team, this roster. GM Ryan Poles has done such a good job building out the depth of this roster. We just really the only position that needs to be built out now is at linebacker. And kind of looking at OTAs, right? Tysheem Johnson, he made some noise as a safety, as a corner, safety corner hybrid. I think he's going to play safety. And then we're also looking at a guy like, I don't know, Jade Walker. I mean, he made a circus catch during practice at wide receiver. But my money's on Eccles making this team. He entered the draft as a productive and experienced prospect, really well-developed eyes once again. He kind of lacked in downhill instincts a little bit, but he just has so much flow to his game, just flows sideline to sideline so well. And I think with the uncertainty at linebacker, he's definitely going to be a diamond in the rough on this team. You guys let me know what you think. Bear down, and I'll continue to be here with you on the daily. See ya.